Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked. The quickest way that you can become a loser is by hanging out with losers. The quickest way that you can become healthy is by hanging out with healthy people. The quickest way that you can develop a scarcity mindset is by hanging out with people with a scarcity mindset. And the quickest way that you can have an abundance mindset is by hanging out with people that have an abundance mindset. There was a quote that I read this week, and it said, if you have to beg people to pick up the bricks, they are not the ones to build with. And that, a man that has hit hard over the last decade plus, I've been in a lot of situations where I have begged and begged and begged and begged, and it has been a giant waste of energy because I was talking to the wrong people. A shift about a year ago where I stopped worrying about me trying to save other people and rather create an ecosystem that will really show them who they are by being in it. And it doesn't mean that everybody has to do or live the life that I'm trying to create for myself, but it does mean that people really need to figure out what type of ecosystem they want to be a part of. I just realized my mic wasn't on, but these aren't fancy, highly produced blogs. These are just generally raw thoughts that I have going from appointment to appointment. Heading to the office after a client meeting at a beautiful home. Actually did a showing for an off-market luxury property and got some really good feedback. Meanwhile, I just got off the phone with my assistant who is at the office right now prospecting with one of our new agents, training him on how to have proper conversations. I know there's a pile of other agents there on my team that are working through the database, making phone calls and digging up opportunities in one of the hardest real estate markets of all time. It's a great example of people who are picking up the bricks. I talked to one of my favorite agents on my team yesterday about a client update on a listing where we haven't even had a showing in 30 days. Now, that's actually very typical at that price point and for that asset class. But the fact that he took the initiative to have the phone call with me, really talk strategy, really put our clients first. We're going to give that client an update and a few strategies moving forward. Like, that's an example of somebody who's just picking up bricks and building the wall because he understands the mission. Now, further to that, we are in October, which is when I get into my yearly business planning for 2026. And I'm going to take a really hard look at myself and hold myself accountable as much as I will the company and my team. But here's a really quick example of how I do it on a personal level. So my stack of what's super important to me is faith, family, fitness, fun, finances. I'm a little bit of a crazy person in terms of how I do my goal setting and all of those things, but I'm going to look at all 5 of those aspects of my life, and I'm going to rate where I'm at 1 to 10. 7's not an option. And anything that is a 6 and anything that's probably like a 4 to a 6, I'm going to look at what do I need to do to turn that into an 8 to a 10, because I know those things are important to me. I'll look at my health, for example. If I like to binge eat after 8 o'clock, I know I feel like garbage and I feel inflamed and it's just not great for me long term. So I'm going to start tracking, am I doing that on a daily basis? Over the span of a month, a year, where am I at? If you track that for a long enough time, it's pretty interesting to see the growth that you will have over a year. And I can tell you from the goals I set last year to today, I am light years ahead of where I thought I would be, but I still feel like there's always room for improvement. Oh my gosh. From a faith perspective, it's pretty easy. I want to be in my Bible more. And from a faith perspective, I know it's pretty easy. I know I want to be in my Bible more. I want to pray in the morning. I want to end my day in prayer and gratitude. And that's something that I actively have to try and do. If I just assume that I'm just always going to remember, I'm setting myself up to fail. So I have another really good example for you. Last year, I talked about wanting to do more speaking gigs. I've spoken on stages with Scott McGilvery, Ryan Serhant, Buzz Conference. I've been on hundreds of podcasts, and I like it. I really just like ideation. I like inspiring people, sharing my story, and like saving a younger version of myself from making really bad decisions. But I say that my family is really important to me. And I realized that me booking a lot of speaking gigs involved a lot of travel, which meant a lot of time away from my family. And my daughter's growing up so fast, I made a massive pivot. And I realized that that's not for me. From a business perspective, I also took a look at my YouTube channel and where I was offering a lot of free advice and consulting. I'm like, man, I'm not a coach and I don't recruit. Like, why am I putting so much energy into that? And I pivoted and tripled down on the Prime Real Estate YouTube channel, being much more focused as the real estate expert. And we are up in terms of sales and growth on that side of the company because it was intentional, right? It's not because I'm the smartest guy in the room. It's just because I planned and then I consistently followed up on the things that I planned for. And it's also because I surround myself with people that inspire me, and I am ruthless about not spending time around people who do not. I have to take this call. What a crazy day. So I got to spend some time with one of my favorite agents at Prime, Mr. Roger Horvath. Talked to another one of the Prime Elite, Mr. Kyle. We're doing an offer on one of our pre-construction to be built condos in Landingsport, Stanley. Everybody says that they're not buying new construction. They don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, I'm going to one of my builders' houses to shoot some content for a listing we're about to launch. I think it's going to be the best priced home in Sunningdale, to be honest with you, for value. And then I got to go to St. Mary's for a consult on a very unique luxury home, which is my specialty. Oh, I also shot a podcast with a gentleman named Cody, who's an agent down in Windsor, Essex. And we talked about the commercial real estate market, the new development market. He gave me a whole bunch of data, which I guess goes back to my point. You become the people you hang around with. If I want to be a real estate expert, I need to spend time around real estate expert. And here's another point. So if you're creating content online and you are going viral, but the people in your comments are absolute trolls and low quality people, you should be paying very close attention to that and steering away from them as much as you can. Like, ask yourself, the people in your comments, are these people you would actually hang out with? And if the answer is yes, and you like surrounding yourself with trolls, go for it. But if you're building the wrong audience, that's surrounding yourself with the wrong types of people, you are going to be absolutely miserable. And don't just listen to me. Pace Moby was just on Sean Cannell's podcast talking about this exact same thing. He said, I would rather have 100 followers who are people I would actually hang out with than 1 million people in my comments that I would never want to do business with. And as somebody who actually shoots a lot of content, I can tell you that tracks to reality. A lot of the people who I've done the most business with are not the people who are always actually in the comments. And a lot of times it's just private text messages or DMs, or they don't comment on my content at all. But I am absolutely committed to making sure I'm surrounding myself with people that want to take things to the next level, have incredible integrity, intelligence, and energy. So I guess, who do you want to surround yourself with, and who do you want to stay away from? Jump in the comments and let me know.